Hello and welcome to another jungle video, and in this one I'm going to talk about one of the most important camps, or the most important camp, that you need to control yourself, you need to control it for the enemy, and use it as a conduit for information. Yes, we all enjoy a big, fat, juicy, thick romp. Yes, we enjoy taking our time and meticulously deconstructing Krugs into all of their tiny little animated selves. I suppose wolves kinda do exist, but Raptors is the most important camp that most high-elo junglers will use as a way to control the game. And no, I'm not saying you should only eat the Raptors, and no, I'm not saying that Gromp and Krugs are worth less than the Raptors in terms of raw experience. They are not, we will go over those numbers. But there is a reason everyone likes to snack on the Raptors for a counter-jungling expedition or simply to juice yourself while you look to do other things on the map. So as always, if you enjoy these educational videos, please consider leaving a like and of course subscribing. My gameplay channel is all of your jungle champion needs. The Patreon has coaching VODs available for you to access, and of course my Zara.gg Volibear live companion guide is linked below for those who enjoy having my voice in the back of their heads telling you what to do as you play. It is by far my most comprehensive work. And now, without hesitation, let's begin. Now, first and foremost, in terms of scaling with experience, Gromp and Krugs do give more. The values are all seen on a pretty infographic on your screen now. You see that the Raptors go from 85 to 114.75. Merkwolves gives more, Krugs gives up to 207 almost, and Lord Grumpulus Kevin Ribbenton of Croaksworth goes from 135 to 182.25, and yes, that's his official name. Now, as we all know, if we start red side and we take Raptor second, the second spawn of those Raptors is going to be level 4. If you do a boost cycler into the red side, you take the red and the Krugs and the Raptors, they're going to respawn at level 5. So while there is significantly less experience in them, that is by design. That is because they are the most often secured camp on the map, and if they were high value, it would be a really highly contested area on the map. And hence the point of this video. Obviously, you can take one Gromp, level 1, and then you take one at level 4 or 5, and then you take another one at level 6. That will obviously equal more than taking Raptors at the same cadence. However, Gromp is too fat and located in a swamp, far away from the main road, so you're more likely to be shreked by the enemy bottom lane and collapsed on than you are to take in and get out GG easy mode. The same thing can be said for the Krugs, except in this case, while it is easy to take yours, and then if you're on the blue side of the map, sequence to a bottom lane gank, maybe into a counter jungling mode, maybe a dragon, it does give the enemy jungler a lot of room to work with, knowing that you are at the maximum range away in order for you to rotate, collapse, counterplay, and so on. Wolves are kind of your inner camp as well with the Raptors, except they are not easily accessible. To sit behind a wall, you have to walk around it, you have loads of fog of war gaps, there is always inherent risk in taking the wolves, and that's why the Raptors are so valuable. You can probably take 5 Raptor camps, yours and theirs included, in the same time that you can maybe take 3 or even 2 Krug camps, just by the nature of how game flow, pathing, and macro is played. And that's the first point. Raptors are a funnel point. You want to chase a car out of a city? Focus on the roads that lead in and out of areas. Consider the geography of the camps and why they're easier to secure. You can simply dip into the enemy jungle through the river, take it, get out. They're fast, they're easy, a tasty snack, a nice treat. You deny the enemy jungler just a little bit, and there's very little risk involved if you have mid lane prior or the enemy junglers on the other side. You have way more open space to see any approaches. It's very easy to see if the bottom lane or top laner are rotating. It's very easy to understand mid lane prior. You cannot do the same with any other camp. And you might say, well, that's it then, that's why Raptors are the most counter jungle, because geography. Well, yeah, but that's not only it. The second point is that it's always very easy to pick up the Raptors while going to do something else. You want to invade his blue when you're leaving base? Snack the Raptors. You want to do Dragon because he ganked topside and is doing the Herald? Snack the Raptors, do the Dragon. The enemy jungler decides, I ganked your bottom lane, I'm going to take the Dragon. You say, well, there's no Herald available, there's no Krugs available, but I'll take your Raptors. Maybe you can dive top, maybe you can dive mid, and you're simply counter jungling something just to deny a little bit while you go do something else. It's like going to the store and the post office is on the way, you might as well mail the letters every time you have some. I'd say 2 birds, 1 stone, but considering it's the Raptor camp, it seems a little on the nose. But very often, if you're looking to make an aggressive river or advanced macro play, either through dives, objectives, counter jungling, what have you, taking your own Raptor camp or sneaking away the enemies while you go to do something else can give you multiple increases in that camp experience. Remember, the camp experience caps at level 9, so every time you take it, the camp is going to respawn at the average level of the game. And because that's usually slowed down on the second part of the early game, you're just going to take a level 5 Raptor camp, a level 6, a level 7, whereas the Gromp, it's quite common to, get level 1, 4, 6, maybe 8 if you actually don't eat one for a while. This means if you take a level 5 Raptor camp, you do the dragon, you steal his blue because he's on the top side, you try and gank your bottom lane, the random crab spawns, you take it, you fall back down to your Krugs. By the time you've done that, 2 minutes 15 have gone by and your Raptor camp have spawned now at level 6. So you're getting level 5 and level 6, while at the same time you're only getting one fully juicy meal of a level 5 Krug camp. Because you can take it on your way to doing something else, you reset the respawn level very frequently. Same thing for counter jungling, same thing for your own camp. And that's the third point, early experience slingshotting, a new term I came up with recently. It's not really anything new, it's just a way for me to label things because I believe if we label them, it's easier to focus on these bullet points, call them back in games, and become better junglers. In this example, you see, I'm Zyra, I know the enemy jungler's not there, I'm going to take his Raptors, I'm going to take his Krugs. What I do though is I take the full Krug camp and leave a baby Raptor. The enemy jungler, trying to get one back at me, does the same thing for my Raptor camp, but by the time I get up there after making other plays, it has respawned, so I'm consuming a beautiful level 5 Raptor camp that he reset for me manually because I was spending my time not being there, which means I lose literally nothing. I get a level 5 Raptor camp instead of a level 1, and despite the person not understanding what tier 1 and tier 2 camp means in the YouTube comments in the last video, it simply means the first spawn is tier 1, the second spawn is tier 2, the third spawn is tier 3. That's my way of saying the camp has respawned multiple times without having to necessarily assign it a level, although the level is what determines its experience. So in the early game, when you're level 4 and you get a level 5 Raptor camp, that's a really huge amount of experience, 97.75 to be clear. And yes, I'm not including the bonus experience we get from having Smite, just because it's a good baseline value. Whereas the enemy jungler will go to his Raptors and realize, oh, there's just a level 1 baby. So he's gonna take that, and it'll be 2 minutes 15 before the next Raptor spawn happens. And if that's a level 6 Raptor camp after he takes it, guess what? It's the same exact level as level 5. There's no downside for me to leave that for him to get the level 6, except he has to wait a long time to get that, whereas I'll get my level 5, and by the time I get my next one, I might even get his level 6 and my level 6. That'll be 3 Raptor camps, and now the experience starts to add up. But the point is, if you are a level below the camp you're securing, it can really boost your experience in the early game because having any experience, gold, or level lead, especially level 5, 6, and 4 around those values gives you more itemization, gives you better base stats, and at such a crucial early phase will allow you to win out neutral fights over crabs, dragons, and ganks. Any top lane Alawi or Renekton players that watch this video, how do you enjoy a level 4 jungler ganking you while you're level 6? You have fun, don't you? Especially the tentacles. And ultimately for the Raptor camp, if you are simply looking to perhaps sequence an area before you go to do a dragon, for example, it's very easy to say, listen guys, the dragon's spawning, I need a full sequence because I'm a bit behind, or I simply want to make sure I reset all my camps for a higher level. I'm gonna do Krugs, Raptors, Wolves, Gromp. Wait for me. Well, if the dragon's spawning in 1 minute 15 and you have control, that's just a bad idea. So what you can do is you simply cut and ignore the Krugs, you do the Raptors first, blue Gromp. This gives you time to snack the Raptors, and if something happens where you need to, not do your Wolves and your Gromp, you at least took one camp, you win the fight, you take the dragon, now you can fall back to your Gromp and Wolves as originally intended, but 2 minutes 15 have gone by and so your Raptors are up. Again, a higher experience level. And that's the ultimate point. It's easy to dip in and out during various periods of the game just to snack on the Raptors, either yours or the enemies. Yes, you're still quadrant clearing after action. Yes, you're still full sequencing. Yes, you're making sure all your camps are under your control, but the Raptors are the easiest to take while doing everything else and reacting to the game state. Think of it like very important protein snacks throughout the day if you're traveling, especially those of you who lift, bodybuilders. We need to make sure we're consuming our daily total protein intake, so we might have some protein cookies or some biltong in my case. Keeps you nourished, keeps you energized. It's not your main course, it's not your main source of protein, but when you combine it at the end of the day, you reach your targets, your muscles are growing, and the snacks really helped you get there. And 2 very important videos that I've made that not a lot of people watch because it's not a sexy topic: denying the enemy jungler and the warning video from last week. The Raptor Pit, because of its geography as we discussed in the first point, is a great place to put wards to track the enemy jungler. They're always going to walk through there. From base to herald, if they're on the other side of the map, you're going to see it. From base to dragon, if they're on the blue side of the map, you will see it. Early sequencing from the red side to the blue side, you will see it. It's an avenue. They will always be traversing through there. Supports will be going through there. Vision control in the Raptor Pit while controlling its respawn not only gives you vision that allows you to control the entire game, but also denies the enemy jungler a crucial experience to give you first to level 6, first to itemization spikes, and that's what you use to win the game, my friends. You order 20 chicken nuggies, they get a 20 piece themselves. Every time they look at their phone, like everyone in this world can only do nowadays, you yoink one of theirs, and by the time you've both finished, they think, wait a second, I didn't eat 20, that didn't feel like 20. Well, that's because they had 15 and you are 25. They don't realize until all of a sudden you're 2 to 3 levels up, you have a huge macro lead, and you're standing tall like Prime Shaq. And yes, even mid laners can take it. Hopefully they're taking enemies and not yours, but they can do that as well. Easy access, easy steals, easy leads. So the next time you're playing jungle, prioritize that camp, understand your counter jungling, make sure you control the avenues and gateways through the forest. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're able to enjoy and learn something. Please do consider leaving a like and of course subscribing if you enjoy the content. Also leave a comment to let me know what content you would like to see more of, as obviously lately I'm very interested in that. Keep tending to your beards and make sure they grow like the bountiful harvest that you deserve, and as always I will see you all in the next video.